Well, I suppose, this is kind of what I do, and it's part of my ritual. It's how I maintain myself. It's it's kind of how I live in the world, and it's kind of one of those things. When you sit down all the time, like I do, so I'm in the sitting position all the time. I'm always looking up. Everything is kind of from a different perspective and things like this. When I go into the water, all that changes. Physically and mentally. I get to stretch out. I feel the weightlessness. All my body moves. I have all these kind of things. All my body moves in a kind of a way that it doesn't get to move. It's nice and relaxed. It's floating. It all kind of just all kind of lets go.
It's just something we've been doing for years. It's just such a good feeling afterwards. I never regret us going in for a swim. So.
Okay, and you're saying sometimes there's hundreds of people here? Or
in the summer there could be up to 100 people. It'd be mostly local people, and in the evenings you'd have the local GA clubs in columns. All the young people after the training would be down. They'll jump in over there where the bollards are, and even when the tide's halfway down, they can still jump in, and they just have great fun. They'd be here all evening until it gets dark.
The spinal cord injury is what spinal cord injury is, and I can't walk, and some of my bodily functions and that don't work, especially concerning my bowel and bladder.
And what does swimming do for that?
Well, it's just kind of like when you get into the water. When I get into the water, it just brings me back to myself. One of the funny things about me getting into the water is I always think about the time I spent in the hospital, and what it does is it kind of just brings me back to that, and that you appreciate what you have. There's a lot of stuff I don't have, but getting into water means for me that it's one of the places where I kind of do have. It lets everything go, and I think it's always been part of me, and it's one of the things that I'm really grateful that it still is. I can't walk, but I can swim.
Well, this morning, as you can see, it's quite blustery, but we have some very brave people who swim here every week. Rain, hail, snow, everything. And because this year the County Council has graced us with a new pier which extends down now 6 metres, which enables our wheelchair users to swim off the pier.
And what possesses people to go out and when they're like... Oh, it is the most fabulous thing to do. And I couldn't believe that I was actually one of them for a while.
Okay, Ray, I've got to ask you, how was that?
Oh, that was great. It's just made it a way easier for me. I mean, like to get in and out of the water now compared to the way it was is just like, it's night and day, or north and south, whatever you want to call it. But when I used to come here before, it was kind of winging a prayer on the way down the slipway and things like this. We had no handrails, and the gradient was a way steeper. And when Ballylickey, to be fair to them, the Residents Association here, have been pressing this for years and years and years. And the council finally stitched up this, and they made all the improvements, but only for them. It's just made it a way easier.